Oh, Joey, are we on? Recording started?
Okay, we're ready to go.
We're live streaming, Joey.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're ready to go, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Joey, are we on?
Yes, sir.
Recording started?
Yes.
Okay, this meeting is called to order.
Maybe.
Today is February 13th, 2024. It's 2:06 p.m. In compliance with Public Law 24-109, Guam Ancestral Lands Commission published a public meeting announcement for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 in the Guam Daily Post. On Tuesday, February 6th, 2024, and Friday, February 9th, 2024. Director, roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chairman Eclavea,
Present.
Okay.
Vice Chairman Laguatnia,
Investiga.
Secretary Treasurer Cruz,
Here.
Commissioner Orlino,
Here.
Commissioner Rios. Mr. Chair, I'm still waiting for a response from Commissioner Rios. Hopefully he'll be logging in. And as for Commissioner Camacho and Wessling, their terms have expired officially. The paperwork has started or has been started, I'm told, by Antelope to get them reappointed to the board. But their holdover of 90 calendar days and 3 legislative days have expired. So they're not officially a member of the board today. But if they come on board, it's up to you, Mr. Chair, if you want them to participate. But altogether, Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum. We have a quorum of 4, which is perfect for operations.
To Juice Master Director, and yes, of course, I would like them to participate if they log on. So, okay, Director, we move down to item 3, approval of minutes. January 17th, 2024.
Did you find it? Oh my gosh.
By the way, do we have any discrepancies regarding attendance on that day? Meaning, we have everybody present on the 17th, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Do
Bye.
that.
Stand by. The moment came.
I was gonna, what you call that? Wrap it and fix it up for tomorrow, but
Mr. Chair, I see Commissioner Rios is just logged in.
Okay, very good.
Okay, if anyone has any question, I would like to move to approve the minutes of our last meeting, January 17,
Okay,
Mr. Chair?
motion. Okay, motion to approve.
Subject to change corrections, if any.
Okay, go ahead, Vice Chair.
Yep. I move. So move.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Cruz. Discussion? Okay, no discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Lino, your mic is on mute.
Aye.
Okay. Any nays? No nays?
Okay.
By the way, I don't, is Commissioner Rios? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's logging in.
Oh, he's still logging in.
Commissioner Reyes, can you turn your video on? There he goes.
Sorry for all that.
Okay, we just moved in the minutes.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if you had time to review the minutes, but we just moved in the minutes and there was a motion and seconded and we all voted. Do you want to vote?
I did. I thought you heard me, but sorry, Mr. Chair. But yes,
Yeah, no.
proceed.
Okay, so you approved?
Thank you. Yes, I do. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Director?
Motion passes.
Passes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move down now to item number 4. It's Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, the Department of Administration is set to launch a new financial management system called the Guam Financial Management Information System, or GFMIS, later this month. This will replace the outdated AS400 system. The GFMIS system will cover Gov Guam's financial management, payroll, and human resources operations. Employees across Gov Guam, including our own Kathy Bloss and Teresa Posna, have been participating in training sessions to ensure a smooth transition to the new system.
Excuse me.
Finally, we'll be out of the AS400. Okay, and then public hearing was held on January 30th this year concerning Bill 23-37. That's the Land Bank Reform Act. Marked a significant milestone in initiating discussions on ancestral lands rights. The bill proposes amendments to existing statutes aiming to ensure fair administration of ancestral claims by addressing the challenges raised by the Attorney General's rejection of the land bank rules that were submitted in 2017. The public hearing marks the beginning of ongoing dialogue and a collaborative effort seeking equitable solutions to these challenges. So thank you for this opportunity to present this report. Let me know if you have any questions or you need more or you require more information.
Jumasi, Director. Any questions for the Director on his report?
I have a comment, Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair?
Yeah, I just want to thank our director, our vice chair, and the people that were there. That was a very good hearing, Joey, and the rest of our team. I want to commend you all. That was a very worthwhile meeting, and it educated a lot of people. And Mr. Birch, great job in doing the report. That was an excellent written report there, John,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that.
You're
And,
welcome. Thank you.
we just, our statement was to protect and defend the ancestral lands and do the right thing. And I want to commend everybody that were there. I also want to commend, thank you for hearing my confirmation hearing. And I've yet to hear if they passed it yet, because I think they're waiting to the end of the month, right? If you hear anything, Mr. Birch.
Yeah, I heard you're on the agenda. You're
Okay.
up soon, so I hope that means that it'll go to the committee of the whole when they go into session again. So you still have a couple of more legislative days. I sure hate for them to go beyond that, knowing we've already 2 of our commissioners are on standby.
Right.
So right now we have 5. 5's quorum for if we work or discuss land, and 4's for operations. So we're good for now. But also in March, for those of you I mentioned last time, the rest of the board, your terms will be expiring in March of this year. Please let me know if you'd like me to submit your name down for reappointment or to be nominated again by the front office. And the same as the vice chair did. He gave his name to me in a timely manner, and we worked on it as quick as we could. And as quick as we took a couple of months. So let me know whenever you're ready. A message in any form would work for me.
Well, that's about it. And
Yeah.
if I could like to, in finality, I would just like to, Mr. Chair, Mr. Director, that I recommend that our commissioners, our existing commissioners, continue, because we were kind of like chastised because we were there so long, but we are the protectorates. We have all the institutional knowledge there. And to bring in new other people there, let's finish this job. We need to complete our job. Mr. Chairman, I ask that you continue. Madam Secretary, I ask that you continue. Please submit your name. Also with you, Commissioner Lino, please, continue. Let's serve, because we know the history of all that has gone by, despite the 20 years, but we garnered $16 million and moving forward. That's something to be commendable about. I mean, in a matter of 20 years, 16 million is pretty good. Just imagine that. But we continue to struggle and we continue to fight, and we need to protect. We need to protect the interests of the dispossessed landowners. I just want to commend you, and let's continue, please. It's just the people, many of them are just ignorant. They want to use the legislative forum to capitalize on their political image. We're not that. That's not who we are. We are here to fight for our and make sure that our dispossessed landowners have received justice. And that's all I have to say. And I wish that you continue, and then please submit your name and ask our director to allow you the opportunity to serve. Thank you very much.
So Jus Masi, Vice Chair, I echo your sentiments. Definitely, Commissioner Cruz, Commissioner Lino, Rios, and everybody that's served. It's despite our friction and our tensions we go through, this is how we come through the process, and it's very much appreciated. And that you've served. We served almost 20 years, actually over 20 years on this board,
Yeah.
and a job well done, everybody. And I like to echo also again our commissioner, our vice chair's sentiments. Director, you did an excellent job, and the staff, Joey, Therese, Kathy, on that hearing. It was very, very well put. Si Jus Masi, Director, great job.
Right.
Thank you.
Amen.
Okay,
And Mr. Chairman, wait.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll come back to the performance evaluation on the further down, I believe, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't see any issues there. That's for sure. Okay, shall we move on? Let's see. Let's continue. We're moving on down to item agenda 5, which is GITA progress report.
Hey, GALC Commission, GALC staff. My name is Megan Obispo, and I'll be presenting.
It's kind of low output on the vocals.
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
Very low.
that's Megan, right? Megan, you're coming in very light.
Still very low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
Barely.
Did you check your speakers, see which one's connected?
Can you hear me now?
No,
It's still very low. It's
barely
like you're
hear you.
far away. It's like you're far away from the mic.
Sorry, my apologies. I'll be presenting from Mary's desk. Hold on 1 second.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Westling said she'll be logging in soon.
No worries, no worries. I don't know if it's just your
Okay, noted. Very good.
There's Megan.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
There you go. There you go.
I
Very good.
apologize
Sound
for
like a
that.
Verizon advertisement.
There you go. There you go. Very clear. You may continue.
Okay. Off day. My name is Megan Obispo, and I'll be presenting the GITA monthly progress report. The following progress report on GITA's is on GITA's efforts to manage the land bank trust properties as required by Section 1 of the MOU between GITA and the GALC Land Bank Trust. Starting off with Northern Market, they have a monthly rent of $27,854.51 and an outstanding balance of $1,828,485.79. A special meeting was scheduled for January 30th, 2024 at 2 p.m., but was canceled due to conflicting schedules. Quick Space, they have a monthly rent of $4,029.02 and an outstanding balance of $4,029.02. Their last payment was received on January 16th, and they're pending their February 2024 payment. Matson, they have a monthly rent of $27,733 and an outstanding balance of $27,733. Their last payment was received on January 19th, 2024, pending their February 2024 payment. France Steel, they have a monthly rent of $500 and an outstanding balance of $6,500. Their last payment was received on January 9th, 2024, in the amount of $1,500. AT&T, they have a monthly rent of $22,939.42 and an outstanding balance of $0. Their last payment was received on February 5th, 2024. Typhoon damage assessment claims are still ongoing. A resolution provided by GALC for AT&T extension on terms of their lease was approved by the GALC Commission in the last board meeting and is now pending legislature approval. Smithbridge Guam, they have a monthly rent of $8,800 and an outstanding balance of $0. Their last payment was received on February 2nd, 2024 in the amount of $1,550. Smithbridge February 2024 invoice reflects $7,250 for GALC rent offset for payment of biosurvey services. And the remaining balance of $1,550 was remitted by SBG. Farmers Co-op, they have an outstanding balance of $3,728.52 for CY 2022 annual rent. 50% of their CY 2022 annual lease payment was received on December 4th, 2023. The GALC board requested for an inquiry regarding the U.S. Postal Service with FCAG. The limited info we received is that the U.S. Postal Service began renting the space in May of 2023 at $1,632 a month. GITA is still pending more info on the lease space terms and conditions. Once more info is provided, GITA will update the GALC Commission. Moving on to the Tizen Properties, Guam Environmental Protection Agency, they have a monthly rent of $8,000 and an outstanding balance of $288,000. Their last payment was received on February 1st, 2024 in the amount of $800. Communications regarding reconciling their accounts are still ongoing, and typhoon damage assessment claims are also still ongoing. DPHSS WIC, they have a monthly rent of $8,400 and an outstanding balance of $29,099.35. GITA received a total lump sum payment of $25,200 on January 5th and January 8th of 2024. Typhoon damage assessment claims are also still ongoing for WIC. Moving on to the F12 Polaris Mitigation Plan. Smithbridge Biological Survey commenced on December 21st, 2023, and has now been completed. It was determined that there was no known endangered species that was discovered on the property. Step 1 was clearing the permit. Permit is required to be obtained after the biosurvey was completed. Clearing permit is needed for vegetation clearing on property to identify any hazardous materials. Step 2 is clearing, and step 3 is disposal. And that concludes the GITA progress report. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Gita. Questions?
I do have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Vice Chair.
Yes, this is I just want to inquire with regards to the collection of these outstandings. We were hammered during my actually in my confirmation hearing about these arrears. And what is the GITA doing in trying to collect these monies? For example, the Farmers Co-op Association of Guam is now renting. We found out, yeah, they're doing postal rental, post office rental for amount of what's the amount? 1,000.
The remaining is $3,728.52.
But they collect from the postal service of the amount of $1,632. $632. Yeah. See, so they're back. They're in back pay of 20 of as of 2022. It's already 2024. what is Gita doing to help us catch up with these payments? That's one of the things that we are being hammered by the legislature. These non-payments, these arrears. What is Gita doing to collect on these arrears? Most particularly that and others, because you kind of went kind of fast on the numbers. I was trying to catch up on numbers, but at least that one and others. Can you give us a plan as to what you're going to do to collect those monies?
Hi, sir. This is Mary Camacho. I'm the real property supervisor. Diego isn't with us today, so I'm here with the team. But do know that we do follow up with a lot of our payments. Some of them based on reporting time come up as being in the negative, but the payments would be coming in this week, if not in the coming weeks. But I do understand your concern with the larger ones that are due. Some of them are stuck in pending federal payments, for example, EPA as well as WIC. But for the most part, a lot of the ones that are being brought up that do have a debt, so to speak, those things are coming up within the coming weeks. So at the beginning of it, when
Yeah.
we talk about, for example, who's the first one? Quick Space or Matson, those regularly come in during the second and third week, but due to the reporting requirement time and this type of meeting, the payments have not been received yet.
Okay, I understand that, but in particular, the farmers co-op, that one, those people are generating revenues. I found out that there was also a wedding there over the last 2 weeks. They are renting out spaces on that area. They are generating revenue, and here we are. They're short paying us. Okay, they need to pay what they owe, and I think you should, Mr. Director, Mr. Chair, send them a letter, pay up, because we were hammered, the director and I and the chairman, at the legislature regarding these monies. Why do we still allow these things to happen? Let's run it like a business. Business is business. Despite being farmers, I'm a farmer too, but they're generating revenue. That's all I want to tell you, board members. You know, it hurts to be hammered, you know, in public. And I told him that this is not going to continue. We need to get on the ball and force these people to pay. They have monies.
Yeah, we'll look into that, Mr. Vice Chair, but
Okay.
with the farmers co-op, they operate on a calendar year. That means that they report from January to December. And so for calendar year 23 that just ended, hopefully by the month of May, they'll be able to reconcile their accounts and submit to us their gross earnings. And based on that, for like calendar year 2022, the amount that they were going to pay us is based on gross earnings over the year. And I believe it started out a lot higher than $3,728. We set up through Gita, we set up a payment plan of how much they're going to pay monthly. Then they pay that down over the next few months or whatever they work out with a payment plan. So that's why we're still on calendar year 2022. 2023 just ended a month ago.
We're
And
waiting on the submission from that.
right. So I think Mary could explain that in greater detail, but basically that's what's going on. That's why you see we're still working on calendar year 2022, not fiscal year 23.
Is that in the law, in the MOU, or in the
Yes.
license agreement? Oh,
Correct.
wow. Okay, then we're,
Yeah, it's a legislated agreement, and that's the problem I have with contractual agreements that are legislated, and it does not allow us to negotiate. But if I remember, the legislature took over during the middle, or because ancestral lands and farmers co-op for some reason didn't come to a meeting of the minds when they were negotiating a lease contract or lease agreement back in the day when this occurred, almost 10
Okay.
years ago or so.
okay.
And
So then take, yeah, excuse me. So then take note of that. That way, when they hammer us down there in public again, we're ready to answer and let them know that, because it made us look, like we weren't doing our jobs.
yes,
That's what it made it seem like it.
yes, but with the farmers co-op, yeah, we are doing our work, and Gita's working hard in this. It's just for whenever we can, I like to say that we avoid any contract agreements if possible, and we always I guess, provide testimony against any contractual agreements that are legislated and to allow us to negotiate our leases on our own, because that's where we wind up with this type of issue.
Okay.
And so, yeah, this is set by law for us.
Okay. So be it.
To add to Vice Chair's his questions regarding Gita and WIC, if I remember correctly, WIC did make a substantial payment recently, correct?
I believe they did back in December, or January.
That was in January.
That was in they made 2 payments in January.
Yeah, and the previous balance prior to that was.
I'm sorry, I don't have that on hand, and I'm
Oh, okay,
sharing
okay.
this with Megan. If you give me, I can do the breakdown for you and provide that to the commission if you like, just so you
Sure,
can see their payment schedule from the previous
Yes.
years.
Yes, I appreciate that. No, we're just so in contrast to Guam Environmental Protection Agency, that the sum of that's the 288,000 is that how is that? How are we how's Gita planning to I mean, this is years that it's been going on. I understand we did have some issues with that, but how is Gita going to approach that with regard to now, these criticisms you've received on non-payments?
Well, I do know that Tony has been doing a wonderful job keeping in contact with their accounting division to further explain why the payments aren't coming in as regularly. My understanding is historically the lease came in with monies that were owed to begin with, and it's been being paid down. Unfortunately, those payments that do come in do not get applied as saying this current month is paid. It actually gets applied to the bigger debt that's there. So when money does come in, it just keeps filling up the hole as opposed to just saying, okay, for February, they paid. That's not how when the money comes in, that's not how it gets applied to their account. But I do know that he has been working with their accounting division to get better answers and responses to why federal monies are being held or not being held to pay off the debt that's owed.
Yeah, I would like to get at least a clarity on just where we're at and what we're dealing with and the reality of the of the collection of the payments. What really are we to?
If I may, what we can do on our end is we can create the report of those that are owed, and I'm sorry, that do owe significant amounts, and then break down their recent payment plans, if any was afforded to them, and if not, then what exactly is the discussions that are being handed out, because I know that we report on them as they come in, but collectively there has not been a report given that explain all these larger ones that you're referring to.
I see. Has there been a payment plan ever introduced with those outstandings, in particular with WIC and well, Gita? I mean,
not presented, not to my knowledge, not being presented, but we have relayed the information when we're informed that money's coming in, that payments will be made. And then I know they get reported out to you guys.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, a few meetings back, I don't recall how far back, but the new director of Guam EPA did appear before the board, and she promised that she will work hard to reconcile their records with Gita to pay the arrears down. She asked for a few months. I think she mentioned 3 months, and
Right.
apparently EPA is on their end. I can't say it's Gita, because Gita's through Tony's been trying to bring in reports on them from them. But I think the issue lies with EPA. So Mary, maybe you can contact them and remind them that their director, remind whoever their accountant is, that their director promised to our board that EPA does have the funds available and that they are capable of paying it down. It's a matter of matching the records up with Gita's records. That's what I thought it was all about when she appeared before us. I forget how many months back, but we can pull that meeting up.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Can we include that? Is that too early to include that into the next agenda on the next meeting? That's a month away.
The report from us, or for EPA to join?
For
the
EPA,
meeting?
I'm talking about in particular EPA.
Okay, I can reach out to them this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning, and then find out if they're able to join us.
Okay, so let's do a follow-up on the next meeting.
Can do.
Commissioner Lino, you're on mute.
These are inclusive of all others that are in arrears, right? Like, especially trans still. So you, okay, I just want to know that. Okay.
If you,
Thank-
if I may, Transtil, they gave us a payment plan option a few months ago that the commissioners, I don't believe you guys voted on it, but you agreed to see how his payments were coming through?
Yes, that's right.
That's
That's
correct.
correct. Yeah.
But you just check on them too.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rios. Commissioner Rios?
Yes, Hopday, can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just wanted to, I was listening to Director Birch, and I do recall that there was some kind of difference in the balances that were due, and that I do remember that conversation though, Mr. Birch, about the balances not reflecting exactly what was either owed to them or something along those lines. So I do remember that. But I also just wanted to ask before we close out on Gita. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Mayor. But on the MOU, is it and do we need to assign a different piece of property for Gita to have a look at? Whether I'm thinking about that Teedson property again. I know we had discussion of that before.
I do remember, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go
How
ahead.
about
Can you hear
Commissioner
me?
Rios? That's in old business under old business
Okay.
6C, where we do the TGen property update.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
scheduled for
I just thought
today.
that. Okay. Okay. No, I did see it on the agenda. I was wondering if that was the old Teedson discussion with regard to airport side and not those homes. So that's all. When we
Yeah,
get
it's
to the
dealing with
homes.
those. It's dealing with those our properties on Gita. Yes, for sure.
Okay. Okay.
That's great. Great, you're on it. We're on it. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's
That's all.
coming up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Megan.
No problem.
Okay, any further questions for Gita? Yes, Commissioner Westling. Just to remind you,
Hey,
you're
hi. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think one of the things that we had asked for in the past, and I don't recall it ever being explained or presented, in particular with our tenants who receive, funding from either government of Guam or the federal government, as to how and when they receive their funding, in particular for their rents. Because they've gotten all, quite behind in their payments. And I believe we did raise the question as to, how often do they receive their money that's supposed to be earmarked for rent? Do they receive it at the beginning of the year, only one time in a lump sum, or is it received, biannually? That would help to explain why they've gotten so far behind in their rent payments. With the absence of understanding how their funding comes in, it just looks like they're using the money for other things other than their rent obligation.
I will follow up with Tony on that one. And then I'll be sure to include this in the report that we're going to provide with all of those who do have rent overdue.
Yes, in particular, the ones whom we know receive,
Their funding source. Okay.
yes, that's correct. I mean, with the commercial folks, that are behind, we know we're working on correcting the matters, but it still begs to ask why the tenants who have money, allocated for them for their rent obligation, as to why they've gotten so far behind, and really how often do they receive the money. I mean, if they receive it monthly, then what are they doing? Where are they taking that rent money and applying it to? If they only receive it once a year at the beginning of the year, then either I would think that they would pay an annual fee, at the beginning of the year when they receive their rent funding, or they would set aside their funds so that they don't get behind like they have. It would just help to understand things a little more, at least for myself.
Understood.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good, very good. Any other questions? So just Masigita on your report. I think you're still in with us on item 6, agenda 6, old business. A Northern Market counter proposal.
We do have here today, I see Miss Jennifer Calpo's on the call. My understanding, forgive me, I was not part of the working session, and in Diego's, I am going through his notes for this. But please, oh, sorry, one second. I do know that there was a meeting scheduled, and because of the legislative hearing, it had been canceled. And then I
Right.
don't believe that there was another special session that was put together unless it's something I'm unaware of and it was just a GALC special session. Is there, Mr. Birch? I'm sorry, was there any meeting?
No, we didn't have a work session. The
Okay.
last one we had was in January, that has already been submitted to the board.
Okay, so my understanding is it is currently with the board. The notes as well from the working session that were submitted by Diego were given to you guys, and that the special session had not been rescheduled. So no updates from the last discussion, correct?
Correct. It's supposed, yeah, there was a public hearing that occurred on that day that we were supposed to have that special session or special meeting on the issue. So we moved it with the approval of the chairman to today's meeting.
So I do have Miss Jennifer Calvo, if you will allow her to. Again, not part of the discussion, but I did review the notes. So I do know what Diego transmitted to you guys. If you can give her a moment.
Good afternoon, commissioners. That is correct, as far as the kind of timeline and the working sessions that we've had. I think our first understanding was probably back in from the meeting in October or November that we were going to have a working session with a couple of the commissioners and Diego about our proposal and kind of the timeline and the expenses for the construction. We never had that working session. We were told it was going to be one just with Gita and Ancestral Lands. And then I guess the next opportunity we had was to present our counter proposal at the last meeting in December. The special meeting was scheduled for January. Our understanding was that there was supposed to be a working session sometime between the last meeting and the meeting today, which we just found out about yesterday. So I'm not sure at this point. I mean, we haven't changed our proposal at all based on our counter proposal, which was basically to request a deferral of the rent during the construction period, which we expect to be completed in 2027 for the reasons outlined in our letter that was submitted in December of last year. I know that there were some concerns raised, I believe, during the working session between Gita and Ancestral Lands. Some of them were, also included kind of a hybrid, alternative or just kind of discussing further the options that we presented. At this point, like I said, our counter proposal stands, and I guess I'll just take questions from the board about how we would like to, or the commissioners about how we would like to proceed. And if there's any further questions about the proposal that, we can answer at this time, or if there will be a working session scheduled to answer the more specific questions. I think about components of the proposal, including the 50%, the increase to the 50% of the participation rent, and, kind of how we calculated what we expect to receive based on the tenants that we have lined up and those that are committed in phases 1 and 2 of the development.
Okay, Director?
Yeah, and I know that we already have, the board has already made a decision in April of last year, but Northern Market has returned a few times with counter proposals, and that the board has set that action aside for now. The last meeting we had was on this was January 11 when we had a work session. I know that yes, like Attorney Calvo has stated that they wanted to attend, but we were instructed that the work session was to be on ancestral lands and Gita. And so we did come up with our comments on what we worked out here. There were issues that were brought up. It would have been productive to have Northern Market there to present another proposal. It probably would have helped also for us to have had that special meeting where we addressed this issue specifically on January 30th, but the public hearing came up on also a major issue concerning ancestral lands, and that was the Land Bank Reform Act. So we can either move forward and have a discussion, I guess, with Northern Market with our legal counsel there. Our legal counsel was with us at the last one was Deputy Attorney General Gumatauto, but he's since passed away. But his concerns were listed. And of course, his concerns were that there are no guarantees set by Northern Market. Basically, his concern has been pretty much on ancestral lands taking full responsibility. I mean, there's no surety bond or anything of that sort. He also discussed that like some of the commissioners brought up at our previous work session back in April of last year that some kind of substantial amount be paid towards the arrears. And I know Attorney Calvo was here prior to that and made an offer that we accepted, but that has since also been set aside. So I don't know, commissioners, it's your decision. Are we to work on this further, or do you want to take action on it today? We do have our legal here. I've sent him some of our documents. It's Assistant Attorney General Miller. He's been assigned to help us through this. Of course, he's new to the topic, but maybe he might have some recommendations. Attorney Miller.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I wouldn't be able to speak to this particular item today, but if the board wants to direct staff to give staff a specific timeline to come back with a new and revised proposal for the board's consideration, happy to devote the time and energy necessary to accomplish your schedule.
Okay, understood. Commissioner Wessling?
In light of the fact that our second working session meeting schedule had to be postponed, and since our legal representative from the Attorney General's office, Attorney Gary Gumatauto, passed away suddenly, unexpectedly, I really feel that we should just table discussions today and then reschedule ASAP the second working session that we had scheduled, so that our new legal advisor can be brought up to speed, and that we could review once more whatever it was that we had wanted to rehash in the second postponed meeting.
Okay, we have a proposal.
I agree.
Okay. Any,
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that. And however, in the meantime, as a result of the work session that we did have at the time with our attorney, that the notes and the comments that the comments that we provided be listed as part of that discussion, because we did place in some significant we did have some input, right, Mr. Director? And I would
Yes,
like
we did.
that the Gita to have those, because they were there and they were they're taking notes, and I would like to have those points of interest, of concern that we did place out during the work session, that be available at our next meeting.
Very
On the
good.
map.
I also like to add, for Gita, we did come up with I think there's pros and cons that we listed. Could we get that in writing? So that it's right before us on our work session, and then actually too, would be available to the board when we do bring it up to the board. We did have a good,
Mr. Chair,
Diego.
a letter was forwarded to us from Gita, and I forwarded out. I can resend that again to each one of you.
So it does have the
Yes,
yeah,
it has the results of the, it's dated January 12th, Northern
that's
Market
right.
working session.
Does
Of course,
does-
Northern Market was not involved with that work session. They did request
yeah,
to be a part of it, and for whatever reason, it was decided that they would not be with us during that meeting. And we decided, the board decided at that time that we would have a special meeting specifically to discuss this openly with the representatives from Northern Market. And that was the one that was canceled on January 30th.
Yeah.
yes, Director, please resend that to the board members.
I'll do that.
Okay, and do you recall if it contrasts the pros and the cons? At least on, like it contrasts the two, the left and on the right or something like that, that we can have a
Agotalo?
clear picture.
Malago talo? Ano?
Well, do you want me to do
Hola.
that now? Because a lot of these are, I don't know if we,
Well, I think I would
these are
like
just
Gita, I would like
work in
Gita to
progress.
they
I
put-
think we should have a work session to discuss this or a special meeting. We do come up with issues here.
Okay. What are you're suggesting? So a special meeting or work session?
Well, if we have a work session, we can hash things out with, if you want to include Northern Market in that, and we could try to come up with, and deal with their proposal or counter proposal.
Yes, I'm all for it. If legal counsel has no objections to that, I think that's a good idea.
Mr. Chairman, members, my recommendation is that the representatives of the board who are going to engage in dialogue with the Northern Markets folks have a clear sense of direction from their colleagues on the board, the direction that the board wants to take, and if you're comfortable that the members of the board that will be participating in that work session, have a good sense of where the board as a whole wants to go, then by all means, let's move forward with the work session.
Okay, that clears it up, Director. I think we should just go ahead then with the subcommittee that was formed and continue the
Okay.
work session. Hopefully we can get, if Northern Market wants to participate in that work session, that'll be great.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so we'll work it out with Gita. We'll do a face-to-face. In negotiations, I feel it's better face-to-face. And we'll work
Okay.
that out with Gita to have it up in their conference room. Mary, we could arrange that with, of course, the Northern Market
Yes.
representatives. And Mr. Chair, with the board members, I know Commissioner Westling has been always involved, and I really do appreciate her comments and advice. Although that her term has expired, I don't see a problem of having her there in these talks, if you would allow that. Because I expect that she
Yeah.
will be, that her nomination papers will be coming through. I'm not sure if she's already received that. And I have no doubt, because of her experience on the board, that she will have no issue with being
Okay,
reappointed
I'd
by
like
the
to, Director,
legislature.
I'd like to add something real quick, and this is directed to our legal counsel. We do have another member, Commissioner Rios showed interest in attending the work session. Since Commissioner Wessling, I don't think there's any, I mean, she could, I'd like to know if it's okay if, because her term is up, she could attend not the work session, but so could also Commissioner Rios. Would that be invited open? Because we won't have a quorum per se.
Well, if Commissioner Westling attends, because her term is expired, she will not be counted towards a quorum.
Right, so then Commissioner Rios, if you are still interested and would like to attend the work session, then pending our legal counsel's approval, then I'm fine with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It just really depends if I mean I'm totally fine. I'd like to help in any way and in any capacity as I can. And but definitely the team that has started, although I was one of the earlier members, was part of that group in the earlier stages. That's fine. Only if it's fine. I can be available for it, and if need be. So, and it's not a
Okay.
problem if you need
I'll
me
leave
there.
that at your
Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to be there. Not a
Okay,
problem.
I'll leave that at your discretion pending our legal counsel. And
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
right now, I think it's fine, but pending legal counsel. Commissioner Wesson?
Yes, I would just like for the record to, be it known that, yes, my term has expired. No, I have not received anything regarding a new nomination, although I did express my desire to continue for another term. And if I could, as I guess a non-member or non-current member, just sit in on the work session, if that is permissible, I would be very willing to do that. And would definitely welcome Commissioner Rios's presence and participation
Okay.
in the meeting.
Very
Thank you.
good. Very good too. Okay, so legal counsel, do you want to weigh in on this real quick, or everything's okay?
Mr. Chairman, members, I think it would be fine for Commissioner Wessling to join the work session. Perhaps we can, depending on the timeline for her renomination and officially rejoining the board, perhaps she might be willing to, serve as a consultant to the board for $1 a year as during this interim
Okay, very
until
good.
she's officially a voting member again.
Okay. That's great. Okay.
Yes, that's fine. Absolutely.
Okay, Director, we've got the information we need, so let's move forward. Good idea.
Okay, we'll invite Commissioner Wessling in and Commissioner Rios. And
I'm sorry,
Commissioner,
Director, Commissioner Rios, you wanted to add something real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Wessling. She really does bring a lot to the table. I always admire her opinion, and so yes, please, you're definitely a tool in this
Exactly.
group, and we welcome all the help we can get from you. And even though you will be underpaid at $1 a year, really appreciate your help all the time. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, sorry, Director,
Well,
to interrupt you there. Go ahead.
we'll cut the check from petty cash.
Okay.
So Vice Chair Laguana, you will be there?
I would like to let everybody know that I was there at the first work session because it
Yes.
was right after our hearing in which we got chastised technically, that's how I see it. So we need to move forward. I don't have to be there, but the comments that the during that work session were very worthwhile, and I hope that you commissioners do the right thing and move forward based on the last work session's comments and issues. And I'll leave that up to you guys, and let's move forward. Let's
Well-
hustle. The name of the game now is hustle. They can't hit us for 20 years. Let's get this stuff done.
Okay, so Vice Chair, I'm expecting you there at that work session. We'll see you there.
Well,
Okay.
well,
I'll see you there at that work session.
but if it conflicts, I can still just
There's no confusion. There's no
stand by.
confusion. Right now, our legal counsel has gave us the okay, so we're good to go.
Okay.
So it'll be
All right,
it'll be
then.
the
So-
four of us. It'll be the four of us, including you, Commissioner Rios, myself, Commissioner Wessling, and Commissioner Wessling is a consultant to the GALC for that.
Okay. Will do.
Okay, Director, we're good to go.
Okay.
So where are we at here? We're still on A. We're done with A. No further
Yes.
questions? No further questions, right? Okay, we move down to item B, Glenn Nelson, request for easement on lot 7166, Marlboro Base Command C.
Okay, we have that. Joey would do that, but Attorney Jennifer Calvo, so we'll work out with you. Gita will get a hold of you. So we can set up that work session and we'll sit down and
Okay.
hopefully we come something for this, some kind of resolution to this. And so thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, thank you too, Sujus Masia.
Okay, regarding Glenn Nelson, his request for easement on lot 7166 Marble Base Command. Joey will go up there. We've already made a couple of visits up there. And yesterday, Joey Leongero went up with Andy Mandiola again to look over the lot. I think he's got something to present to the board on this request. Joey, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chair and board members. Like Mr. Birch said, Andy and I both went to do another site inspection just to take some photos. And let me share the photos with you. That I also got some photos from Glenn Nelson. He messaged me today to just let you know that he wasn't able to attend the meeting. We'll go ahead and just proceed. But if you guys need him to be present, then he's also okay with us tabling the matter until the next meeting. But let me go ahead and share the photos. I was having issue opening the photos. So this is one of the photos from Glenn Nelson, and this is showing, I guess, the boundary of the property, and what it is this is the solar farm down here, and he's taking a photo, I guess,
Is
showing
that
the
that's Sausagen on the right, right?
yes, sir. Let me see if I can find it. So this is the extent of the boundary that they maintain. And if I show you an aerial photo, so this is where he was standing about right here. And basically he's just trying to show the board that, you know, this is the easement, that's the legal access that was that is for this lot. But as you can see here, it's a pretty steep drop here. And he has a couple of other photos. So he's just showing you the I guess the slope or the terrain or the topography of the property where the easement would the be accessed from, or the property would be accessed from this location here. So again, this is the house, and it's a split level house, and they normally would come in through Route 15. And this is where they would park. They also can go down here, and I believe the dad is staying on the bottom portion down here. But as far as the documented easement, this would be the documented easement. Then let me try to share some other photos.
So Joey, basically the topography kind of like restricts a proper access going up
Yes.
that cliff.
And then let me just change this to a different layer. So again, here's another view of the property. And again, as you can see, the shaded areas are the steeper. Shows the steepness of the terrain. And we wanted to drive down. We wanted to drive along this road here and try to drive as close as we could to get a better angle of the cliffside from down here. But when we went out yesterday, the road was blocked off. And when we were speaking to the security guard, he said that they had to block it off because I guess after the storm, a lot of the trees were knocked down. And so he called the operations manager there, and the operations manager said that they wouldn't have they weren't able to open up the roads in the meantime until they meet with Department of Agriculture, because now I guess they found out that there's the endangered snails there. So what he did allow us to do was he drove our vehicle in, we drove down here, and then we drove up to this point here, and we took some photos, just showing also the angle. He was supposed to send up some photos today, but I haven't received it yet. But when he brought up the issue about the snails, it kind of just made me think that, if there were snails here, then I'm thinking there may be snails around here too. So with the Nelsons, just to even clear this opening, I think they would be having an issue with uh, getting any clearing permits just to start I guess to open up the road for their property. So, I mean, there's just thinking about all the inconveniences and all the I guess they would have to do a lot of grading just to for me, just looking at here, they would have to grade this portion of the cliff line just to make it level, and then that would allow them to have access to the house. So it's to me it's I'm thinking it would be best to go ahead and approve their request to allow them to continue to use this portion of the Marble Base Command C property. If we make it permanent or not, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if what our future plans for this property is. I'm not sure if we can make it a temporary grant, and then, you know, in the which would allow us in the future, if we need to realign this, maybe follow this existing trail here and maybe follow along the cliff line. You know, so those are the options that I'm thinking of, just to continue to have them use this current trail that they've been using since, I think, before the 80s. And but my only question is, do we make it permanent or can we make it a temporary access? If we do grant it to them, it would be up to the family though to hire a surveyor and the surveyor to survey it out, plot it out, and create a map at their expense. Other than that, you know, I'm just keeping the presentation real simple and quick. That's pretty much it. You know, again, I would support Glenn's family's request to have them use this access or grant them use of this property as for access and for their utilities. Just not sure again, would we grant it permanently or temporarily?
So Joey, what is it that they're asking for?
They're asking for a grant of easement from Route 15 to their property. I believe they want a permanent easement.
So temporary access is not going to do it for them, correct? I think it's something they need to do with what, the banking system or the banks or something.
The bank, I guess they refer back to the email. Yeah, so he says
Yeah,
we
and I
need to your help to formalize the grant of easement. Just I guess he wanted to formalize that easement. Because that's what they've normally used. But when I guess when he submitted the paperwork and the easement that they're currently using is not showing on the map, then that's why he came in front of the board to request for that easement. But it's not, the property is not landlocked, so he could still get the loan, but it would just be easier and more convenient for the family to get this approved by the board versus them trying to open this up and develop this easement. But they're not landlocked. Any other questions, commissioners?
Hang on, Joey. I'm having a little
Okay.
problem with my. Oh, there we go. Okay, my Zoom app disappeared. Okay, so to clarify, a temporary easement is not going to meet their requests.
Joey, if I may, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chair,
Yes,
is there
how
any
about you?
is there any federal properties that are still under control in that area in the lower cliff lines there?
There is this portion here, but it's one of the properties that is on the potentially on the net negative list to be transferred to GovGuam.
And where is that right? Can you identify that?
It's this area right here.
Oh. And there's an existing road there already, right?
Yes, sir, yes.
Joey, how did those guys with the solar farm get grading permits if there's endangered snails there?
Yeah,
That's a question right there.
yeah, I had the same question, but that's not for me to answer.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
just
that's not your pay grade.
Yeah. But yeah, even Mr. Birch was wondering, did the snails just show up?
disappear there.
I heard Mr. Glenn Nelson mentioning about the request due to some of the property that he's gonna deed out to his nephews and the family, I think his children. And I wonder where those properties are at. He said it would allow them some leniency or some opportunity. I think I'm not sure what he
No,
actually
what he
meant.
said is, he said this property would eventually go to, his children
Oh
or his
yeah,
nieces and
right.
nephew. So that's what he wants is, he would like a permanent access leading to this property. Just again to make things make it facilitate, things, make it easier for them
Yeah,
when they
right.
inherit the property. They won't have to go through
Okay.
the process of, getting permits to clear this and grade it and versus
Oh
this
yeah,
here would be, it'll be established already and they wouldn't have any issues in the future.
correct.
So that's why he's trying to secure this for the, for them now, but also for the
Access.
in the future for his
Right.
because I believe he said the house belongs to him and his sister. So that's why he said
Right.
his niece and nephews, but also his kids, but for them also right now.
Okay.
So, and as everybody knows, they were granted access by the Air Force. So this has been in use by the family for more than 20 years, and I don't see an issue with allowing them or granting them their requests. My only thoughts was, what is our future plans? Do we have any future plans? And would the access going straight down here would it affect any future development of the property? And so with a temporary, or with maybe if with the grant of easement, maybe we can write in that we would we still have the option to relocate the easement if needed. I don't know. But other than that, I mean, I would personally, you know, grant his request.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I
Go
have
ahead.
a comment on my recommend?
Joey, can we go back to the main screen now? Okay, there. Who had a question?
That was
Okay.
Commissioner Cruz.
Mr. Cruz?
Yeah, I did mention when this request was first presented on the easement, is it going to affect the development of this property? Because when we're going to provide easement, it could be 30 to 40 feet. That's really big. And so if the landowners already has an easement, is it just more convenient for them, for us to give them an easement and not another route? And we really need to consider this, because we can't keep giving easements to other landowners when they make a request, because we still have a lot of Crown properties. So I really sympathize with the family. I sympathize with Mr. Nelson as his family, but it's something that the commissioners have to really consider. And maybe table this and not make a decision right now. That's my recommendation and my comment. Thank you.
Could I get our legal counsel to weigh in on regarding the temporary use or the grant of
Yeah,
easement?
baby.
The contrast between the two and
give me
does
now.
temporary easement suffice for lending institutions?
Mr. Chairman, members, first of all, if it is true that this particular landowner has been accessing their property down that dirt road, call it what you will, for 20-something years, that's likely good enough to entitle them to keep using that dirt road into the future. If nobody's kicked them off, if nobody's fenced them off for 20 years, then generally speaking, the law is going to allow them to keep using the road. But in that scenario, they would be entitled to keep using it in exactly the condition it is right now. That they can ramble down the dirt road, but they're not entitled to grade it, pave it, dump gravel on it, make it any better. But they can keep using it. That being said, the commission is free to, if they're inclined to want to give this particular property owner
Yeah, baby.
a more formal easement, a more formal way of access to the property, because certainly that's what it's going to take to get a bank and other folks to want to invest additional money in improving this property. The commission is nonetheless, free to attach whatever conditions it would like to that easement. We can craft a formal easement that says you can go up and down the dirt road at your discretion, but the condition of the dirt road can't change. Or we can craft an easement that a document that says you can go up and down this road, and we expect within 5 years you'll have it paved, and there'll be curbs and sewers and gutters and streetlights, or anything in the middle. It's your preference. What you'd like to see. Again, it's your preference. If we're trying to work with the landowner to facilitate their being able to satisfy a bank, so that they can borrow more money and improve this property, then a bank is going to want to see something permanent. The commission is not obligated to give the landowner something permanent, but certainly a lender is going to want that. And again, we can put whatever conditions you all would like to on that document. As I said, it's good for 10 years, it's good for 99 years, it's good forever. The condition of the dirt road has to stay exactly as it is, or we expect the landowner, as I said, to pave it at their expense and to allow other people to use this beautiful new paved road, and anything you'd like to do in the middle.
Okay, thank you, legal counsel. I think just to maybe clarify with the board that when the granted them utility easement, I believe that was prior to the land returning to us. So if you remember, there's stipulations in the return of the properties, of these excess properties, that the roads and the easements are actually supposed to stay in place. Although we do have experiences and we've seen it, where landowners actually closed up certain easements. Nobody has said anything about that, but that could be a stickler for these landowners that, I've experienced some of them next to my property that closed up the easements going in. And I clarified with Joey that, you know, they are doing it, but here we are, the government of Guam, we have that easement that was granted to the family. It is a utility easement.
Yeah,
It is
Mr.
a
Chair, can I
utility.
ask Joey? Joey, when was the property returned to the government of Guam? The property in question? Do you know offhand?
Yes, sir. So I have the deed right here in the year 2000.
Okay, because I can attest that that easement was there in the early 80s when I used to go and visit the original owners, Gloria and Ted Nelson. We worked together in
Yes.
several projects back in the 1980s. And so they've been using that for over 40 years. And I know that, I mean, because yes, I was very young back then during those days, but I do remember going in there and with the power poles and the easement available over 40 years ago in the early
And-
80s, maybe
and-
84, 83.
And Director, they've been there, they built that house, I believe, in 1975. And I
Yes,
think, yeah, and they did get a permission from government for the utility easement. Otherwise, that wouldn't be there.
and
And
I
that's
know
been there
that almost,
prior to 2000, correct?
and if that's the case, then all property returned to Gov Guam stipulates that all easements, utilities and such shall not, shall be maintained or retained as such.
Yes,
In
exactly.
so many words. So if that's the case,
So,
although it may not be showing up on a map, it clearly based on my own personal experience is why I've been staying out of the conversation because I do have not with Mr. Glenn Nelson, but with his parents. When I was younger, I remember going in there in the 80s. Their house was there way before I started going in. And I remember going in there in 1983, 84, over 40 years ago. And easements were there. And if the case was that they have reversionary clauses written into our deeds for property returned by the federal government, I'm probably feel assured that this same deed has those same clauses that seem to be universal in all the deeds of properties returned to the government of Guam.
yeah, and I think,
Although-
Director, that applies to the government of Guam having that ability to, reverse the deeds because we're following the military's
Yeah.
provision.
But I remember that being a condition, but just because it's not in our local records, I don't know if they can discover or rediscover any of the records that indicate that that easement does exist.
And there's no way that they'll have that easement in there prior to the 2000 release of the property. They had a permission from the federal government for the utility, and
Yeah, well, I could see
Go ahead,
that by
Director.
the power poles and the water lines, the utility
yeah, and
access.
there's
that
no
was-
way they could have gotten that without. So, for all intents and purposes, I agree with Joey.
Okay.
You know, we have no issues of granting them.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, having heard all the discussion, and let's move forward. We've been here as board members. The delaying and delaying and delaying has gotten us into trouble. I'm without any further ado, with all that was said, I think that we should grant them access without any conditions, and I make a motion to approve the access of the Nelson family to be allowed to have their access there.
And I agree with Vice Chair.
It
Okay,
needs to be
so there's a
seconded.
motion. Okay,
but-
motion on the floor. Is there a second?
But Mr. Chair, could we have the width of the road, 20, 30, 40, 80 feet
No, just standard, just a standard.
standard? What's required? Okay.
Yep, required by law.
That I believe that's 40 feet or 20 feet.
Joey,
It
would
can-
you
it
remember
can
that? I
be-
believe it was 40.
It can be 20 if it's an agricultural zoned,
40
at the
residential.
minimum, but normally it's 40. Measuring what they're using is 40 feet. They're using 40 feet though, so
Okay.
I would recommend we give them 40 feet.
Okay,
I think it would be an advantage to the Ancestral Lands Commission to also have it 40.
All right.
And also the stipulation that the family is going to be responsible to,
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that they would do that.
I mean, for the improvement and the pavement or the paving.
Whatever comes.
Yeah, whatever comes to
So,
developing. the road itself.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to have the vice chair restate his motion for clarity when we take the motion down.
Very good.
Okay. Okay, I move to approve to grant easement to the Nelson family with the 40-foot easement to allow them access to their property from this day on.
And finalize the improvements.
Yes,
they-
yes. To
they would
include
be-
also those that they have full responsibility handling all their matters with regards to the
With the
granting them easement.
development of the road.
Correct.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor.
I'll
And,
second.
I'm sorry, seconded by who?
Commissioner Cruz, but I can, or I can as well. It's fine.
Oh, okay, okay, seconded by Commissioner Cruz or is,
It
Commissioner
was
Rios? seconded-
Orlino. Commissioner
Orlino?
Orlino.
Orlino,
Okay,
my apologies,
Commissioner
yeah.
Orlino, it's seconded by Commissioner Orlino. Discussion. Any discussions? Okay,
Oh,
No further
one moment. I
discussions?
really would like to wait and give it another thought, okay? So go ahead and make the motion.
the motion's made, it's been
Deliberate.
seconded by Commissioner Orlino. Okay, let's go on an individual vote. Vice Chair Laguardia,
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz,
Abstain, sorry.
okay, Commissioner Orlino,
Approve.
Commissioner Rios,
Approve.
and I approve. I
Motion
believe we have
carries.
quorum. Director, motion passes.
Thank you, commissioners.
So just Marcia. Thank you, legal counsel, for your input. That was very helpful. Okay, we move down now to old business, item C. We're still on agenda item 6, old business. Item C, Tees and Properties update.
Okay, I see Mary Camacho is here from the property manager from Gita. I do note that with this, the final report was to recommendation was basically, I agree with it, is to place an RFP out and see if there's any interest in the property, but I'll let Mary Camacho go into detail on it.
Okay, my understanding is at the last meeting, Tony Ariola presented what the value was based off of old proposals, as well as its location and the issues with the property. My understanding is the commissioners were gonna look over the reports that were provided by Tony that also talk about the rent costs that are associated with the current office at ITC, and for the commissioners to then vote if they were going to issue an RFP for the property, just to see the interest.
Okay. So, can you clarify again the first part of that, what you just said, the first part?
There was a report submitted at the last meeting in January. And if you would like me to go through that, I can go through that again. But that was inclusive of the rent that is currently being paid here at ITC for the office, as well as the interest that was not being received in prior issuances for that particular property. It's the 3 homes that are along the road to the airport.
I see, I see.
Also included the costs associated with the square footage, as well as how much it would cost to renovate. And then we also discussed the asbestos that's present there.
Right, right.
And so the last thing I was informed of was that the commissioners were given the report, and we would, I believe it's coming to a vote today, or it was going to be discussed further today, if you would like to issue an RFP.
Oh, I see. Can we continue with some questions before we make a decision? I do have something to add to it though, but any questions regarding the Tees and Properties? Let's see, is Commissioner Rios still in?
I do not see him on the call.
Okay, what I would like to do is I would like to see if there's any what did they call that particular type of public notice where you give, I don't think it's an RFP. I think it's a request for interest. Is that what it would be? Something like that? A request for interest?
I
What
don't,
would-
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the exact term at the moment. I'm sorry. I'm
But
spacing.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. I want
I
to
believe
see
it's like an IFB or something.
Yeah.
what is the exact term? Request for proposals or no? It's not,
That
that's not
would
what
be,
it is?
that would be issuing RFP, yeah.
Yeah,
there's-
so
there's-
basically, I'm just
Just to see if there's
Mike, you want to
Oh,
weigh in on
right.
this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, the request for expression of interest
There you go.
is a method that we could determine if there's anybody interested in the property. But you can't really do anything with that. All it is a person saying or a company saying that they're interested in using the property. You would have to follow up with an RFP.
Okay,
Request
but,
for proposal.
Okay,
All a request for information would do is let you know if there's anyone interested in using the property. That's it. So you spend the time obtaining expressions of interest, but you still have to issue a request for proposals if you get a serious expression of interest.
yes, understood. Is it okay? I think I would like to do the first one.
What we've normally done is just go out with an RFP. That way, if you
So
get
an
a
RFP
serious
would-
interest,
Oh, I see.
a request
Okay.
for proposal. If you get someone serious, then you can deal with it right then and there. You don't
I
have to issue something else.
I see. Let's get the board to, can we, Director, let's ponder that and discuss it and see if that's really, we should do that.
Yeah,
Maybe-
well, I would follow Gita's recommendation. It seems like the study they did and the report that you should have in your packet shows that the cost and the size of the property is prohibitive as far as trying to relocate our offices up there. We would spend a lot of money with very little return on our investment, if any at all, for many years. And that we could make more money out of that by just allowing somebody, based on their report, by allowing somebody else to come in and develop that property.
Yes,
because-
that's basically
Yeah.
what my intention is. I wasn't thinking for us to move over there. I was thinking to just develop
Right.
it. Yeah,
But because initially we asked them if it could, some of those buildings be turned into our office. But because of maybe the lead or the asbestos in the building, that it may cost a bit more than what we planned, and we could see if somebody else wants to do that, put an RFP out, put our feelers out and see if anybody's interested because of its location to the actual airport itself.
Yeah.
That even the airport might be interested in the property themselves. And it's right across many of these freight forwarding companies that could use
Yeah.
it for their offices, and they may be interested in using that property just because of that, because of its proximity to their location. So I agree with Gita to place an RFP out and see what happens.
okay, very good. If there's no objections, can we, Gita? We go to that?
Can do. We can issue an RFP if that's the direction of the
Yes.
commissioners.
Yes, please.
Just one point of clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Would the RFP be for a long-term lease or 5 years?
I would think, Director, we do need to get a
Long-term?
Don, right? We do need to get a Don. If it's, is it
Yes.
practical?
Yes.
We would
Is it
have to do a determination need with the legislature. And I agree, would be better off with a long-term lease. We won't get too many takers if they're to
For
invest $1 million into some building for a 5-year term. They
5
won't get any
years, yeah.
return on their investment. So that's not practical.
And
So
with the
yes,
current
we would
state-
have to go further into this. And I think we do have something like that. We'll get more people interested in the property if it's for a longer term.
Okay, very good. So that answers the question, Mike? Okay,
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
okay. Any questions with regard to that?
No, just a comment, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I stepped away for a moment.
Okay,
I got romper room duty like
got it.
my
Awesome.
baby. Okay.
Oh, okay, so I thought you had a comment. So, okay, Gita, go ahead and move forward with the Don and the RSP. So
I
we're gonna
think we
move
would
down.
need a motion, Mr. Chair,
Would
for
you
them
need-
to move forward, so that it's a clear understanding that, they're, as our property managers, that this property is, being transferred to them for, to manage it and do the RP determination of need and everything that's required.
Okay, let's do it. Very good. We need a motion on the floor to have Gita request the Don from the legislature and put out the RFP, long-term RFP.
Yeah, for which property again?
This is for the Teason property.
Oh, yeah, okay. So move.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve. Do we have a second? We need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Cruz. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Lino? I think she might have stepped away. We need 4, right, Director?
Yeah.
Commissioner Orlino, are you there? Well, this is a first for us.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
She,
Vice Chair.
I think she probably stepped out because I had to step out. I needed to use a quick restroom
Okay.
stop there. I couldn't hold it anymore, but perhaps she'll be back. And I guess she was here earlier, right?
Yes, I'm sure she's still here. She's just probably indisposed at the moment. So, oh, there she is.
Yeah. So,
Commissioner
there.
Lino, you're muted. Please unmute.
What happened?
That was me calling you, so don't disregard that call.
There's a motion on the floor to to have Gita put a Don out with the legislature and to put out an RFP for artisan properties.
Right.
Okay, Commissioner Laguardia made the motion. It was seconded by Commissioner Cruz. We went to a vote. We have 3 ayes, and we're waiting for 1 more from you.
Okay, aye.
Aye, Director. Motion passes.
Thank you, commissioners. That was interesting.
It was mostly Mike too, and Gita, Mary. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. The agenda. Where are we at here? Number 7, item 7, new business.
We don't have any new business listed, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Would
down
you-
to item 8, executives pursuant to 5
Mine-
GCA.
Mine our own
8,
business.
executive director's evaluation.
Yes, that one will enter into executive session. Joey Leongero can place us into what we call a breakout room. And that
Okay,
will be
Director,
with
even
the
though
commissioners.
we do have several commissioners missing and a couple of them are out. I mean, their appointment has expired, but we're still good to go with this?
Yes, we do have a majority, which is 4. Of course, Commissioner Rios, could be brought in later on. I don't know. He timed out, I guess. He was on the road. But we do have a
Okay.
quorum with 4
Okay,
of
let's
you.
move to- let's
Could
move-
invite
let's move
legal
to-
to sit in on this.
Yes. Okay, let's move into executive session. Joey?
Okay, one moment.
There, I'm back in. My granddaughter touched something, and I lost you guys for a moment.
Oh, there. Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
We're going into executive
Executive room
session.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I see everyone is back in out of the breakout room or the executive session.
Okay, one second real quick here so we can get back to the agenda. Okay, so now that we're done with item 8, we're moving down to 9, public comments. Correct?
And Mr. Chair, there was no request unless I hear any requests now for public comment.
Okay, we're at 10 announcements. Next GALC board meeting.
If you want to stick to the second Wednesday of the month, our next meeting will be on March 13 at 2 p.m.
Okay, sounds good. Our term doesn't expire until the
March
26th,
13.
so we're still
March
good,
13.
correct?
Correct. And then after March, you have 3 months plus 3 calendar days. And what the 3 calendar day is when the legislature goes into session and votes. That'll be counted as 1 legislative calendar day.
Got it.
So it conceivably could be after that for 3 months plus maybe close to another 3. But I'll start working for those of you that expressed to me that you would like to continue, so we could start working on your documents down at Adelup to get you reappointed.
Okay,
Okay, very good. So our next meeting is on the 13th.
yeah.
Yes, at 2
March
p.m. if
13th.
you decide.
Okay,
Okay, March 14.
13.
Okay, wait, stand by. I'm just checking my calendar.
same here.
Yeah, it's good.
The month, right? So that's March 13. Wednesday, okay.
Okay.
I'm good. We're all good. So Juz Masi, everybody, for today's meeting. Gita, Ancestral Land staff. Definitely everybody.
Okay.
Therese.
Okay.
Adios.
Yeah,
Andy.
wait. I moved to adjourn. However, we should have we are out of the record for our get together, remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Friday.
When the date for that is when again? It's
This
confirmed.
Friday.
This
16.
Friday.
Okay.
16th.
So Joy, get us off the record. Right, because I moved to adjourn, right? Yeah,
Okay,
they
so
don't need
let me adjourn real quick.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, it's 4:09 p.m.
And we are adjourned.
There's a motion to adjourn. This meeting is adjourned.
There you go. It doesn't need
There
to
you
be second. It doesn't need to be seconded.
Bye.
Okay,
No.
wait.
Okay.